Points, cash, gear, sports. With a Dick's Scorecard, you earn points on all your purchases and get 3% back in rewards and access to exclusive deals and events. It's simple. Points lead to cash to buy gear so you can play more sports. Get your Dick's Scorecard and start earning reward certificates today. Every season starts at Dick's.
Breaking new gate.
You're listening to Taifa Radio on the Taifa Sports Network. Time for the best youth sports radio show. You're listening to The Zone. Here's your host of the show, Kenny Long.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to The Zone here on Taifa Radio. Back after a nice long hiatus after the fall season. It's great to be back, ready to kick it up a notch here. Wednesday nights, 1 hour show here during the spring season from 8 to 9 here on Taifa Radio, The Zone, every Wednesday starting at 8 p.m. And until we get to the fall season, it all starts up again to a 2 hour show, 8 to 10 here on Taifa Radio. Great to be back. Football already in play. Week 2 of the spring season has already passed. Week 3 coming up next. And looking to see who's getting that work done. Who's getting themselves set for the 2018 fall season, because that's what spring is for. It's gotten more and more competitive each and every year. And it's also great, an opportunity for a lot of these organizations that are not part of Taifa, that's able to kind of come in and kind of test the waters and see what Taifa is all about, see what the competition's about, and make a decision possibly for the fall season to come on in and get things going. Already getting a message here. When's the show starting? Now. It started now. It's on live. Join us here. Chat box is open if you want to pop in the chat box. I know I haven't talked to a lot of people. It's been very, very kind of a busy off season for me. Many of you knew that going into the fall season, employment changes. I'm now self-employed, but out there getting some things done to keep things running. But we are here ready to go for the spring season. We waited for a couple of weeks. We had some special things that were going on that I had to take care of. But nonetheless, we are back, and we will be back every Wednesday here starting at 8 p.m. Again, 1 hour shows during the spring. We're going to do 1 hour. Facebook Live is not up right now. One of the things that I'm doing is kind of reorganizing my office here, my home office, to help with what I'm doing business-wise at the same time. So things are a little out of sorts, disarrayed. So we're not doing any Facebook Live stuff. And it's something that we don't normally do anyways. It's Taifa Radio. It's not Taifa Video. But we will bring up the Facebook Live again. I know many of you enjoy being able to look in during the broadcast. But one of the things that we cannot do is bring you the audio from any callers. We try to do it. There's no way for it to hook up properly based on the way I'm doing this. So if I can turn up the speakers and you can hear the callers, great. If not, you need to come to Taifa Radio. You can do both. You can watch it on Facebook Live, and you can listen on Taifa Radio. So you got the audio and you can see the video at the same time. So it's a great concept for both ways for you to listen in and be a part of the show. 8:06, 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. We're going to kind of get into the spring season. Some of the teams that we're looking at, not going to go over the scores. There's a lot. There's a number of organizations playing. I was looking through the flag scoreboard for week 2, and it's just like, wow, there's just so many teams that have come to join us and that are joining in spring season. We're going to just take a look at the standings as they're looking for each age group right now to kind of give us a picture of who's kind of coming to the top after the first 2 games and who's not, who's struggling, who's trying to put some things together. Shane in the chat box, he's the one that sent me the text message on my phone asking when the show was. And of course, we kicked it off at 8 o'clock, and here we are. Right when I sent it, that's when you came on. That's how it works, Shane. If you got any other questions, by all means, pop in the chat box. Just want to say hello. Shout out your team. Shout out your favorite player, your favorite organization. We'll do that here. Have a great time here for the hour. We got some special guests are going to be coming on here a little bit later on to talk about some of the things that many of you have seen has been posted on Facebook. I've been kind of silent on social media as well. There's some other reasons why, but many of you who have talked to me know why I haven't been on social media very much. But we will be picking that back up. But Brian Morgan, the CEO of Taifa, has been posting a lot of things, and one of the things that he posted was about the initiative, the safety initiative that Taifa has brought on. And let's be honest, folks. If you're paying attention to social media, you're paying attention, because that's the only way you're seeing this, by the way, is through social media. There is an all-out attack on youth sports and youth football, to be specific. There's been bills being drafted and are trying to get passed through state legislation to ban youth football. It hasn't hit Texas. And obviously, that's where our concern comes in, is Texas. But as stewards of the game and stewards of our youth, it's something that we got to pay attention to all over the nation, particularly when it hits one of the larger states. And let's be honest, there's a lot of great football that gets played all over the nation. I've had the opportunity to travel to a lot of these places and see these young men and women perform on the football field and really put on a great show, showing their talents as youth football players. But everybody knows who the heavy hitters are when it comes to football: California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. You can make an argument for some Alabama, maybe some Mississippi, things of that nature, but everybody knows it's Florida, Georgia, Texas, California. That is your big hitters. And when you see that California state legislators are attempting to pass a bill to ban youth football, not just youth sports, youth football in their state, we have to take a stand. We have to take a stand because their reasoning is just not there. I get the safety aspect. Everybody's concerned about CTEs. Everybody's concerned about concussions. And there are a lot of great tools that are out there. We're going to talk about one of those tonight. But there's a lot of great things that can be done to make the game safer. I've talked about training. Many of you that listen to me on my other network, NYSR, this is something I've talked about on a regular basis, is training for our coaches. These are youth coaches. These are youth coaches. These are volunteers. These are not paid professionals who've gone to school, training, what have you. They are volunteers that come out and take their time, spend their time, and in many cases, their money as well, to care for the youth of their communities, to provide them a means to be a part of something that is not illegal, that is not dangerous, and that is not going to get them killed, thrown in jail, or put out on the streets homeless. It's a way for them to escape in many ways. It's also a way to provide them with the nurturing that they need, the forethought, the teaching of life that they need, and that they can get from being a part of a football organization. And that is the part I think a lot of these legislators are not looking at. By attacking football, by attacking youth sports, they are doing away with the ability to have something for these kids to keep them off the streets, to keep them off of drugs, to keep them out of gangs. And it's something that we really need to pay attention to, because if it goes through in California, and I got a great friend out there, we've conversed back and forth a little bit here and there. He's out in California. He's really taken the reins and is really. They held a rally on the steps of the state capitol in Sacramento about a weekend or 2 weekends ago to fight this bill. It was fought in Maryland. A good friend of mine, Wayne the Voice Matthews, has been charging forward with that, trying to keep that bill from going. Managed to get it off the table. It's still a threat, but it's off the table. Many other states are starting to pick it up. It hasn't hit Texas yet, but we need to be prepared. And that's something that Taifa is doing. And Brian Morgan and the board of Taifa really came together and discussed this, talked about this, knew the importance of what needed to be done. They came up with the Taifa Safety Initiative. And there are many different things that they're doing to make this work, to make this happen, to not just, enforce some new rule on anybody. It's to protect the kids and at the same time protect the game. To show that these legislators that start getting involved in this, that we're doing something. We're trying to make this game safer for the youth. And at the same time, allowing them that avenue to be able to be a part of something that is good and great for their lives and not be running around on the streets with nothing to do. Because look what we're doing right now here in Texas. It is spring football, which means these are kids that are fixing to get out of school. School ends the end of May, some early June. Where are these kids going to go? What are they going to be doing? We got spring football that's going on. There's all kinds of other sports that can be involved as well, but our focus is football here. 7-on-7 usually gets going right after spring football. And then here at Taifa, it's about July that we already start preparing and practicing and getting together with these kids to get ready for the fall season. So it is keeping our kids safe and off the streets. And that's something that needs to be reminded to these legislators, because I don't think they're looking at that aspect. I don't think they see that. I have put out a challenge for the NFL, for the NCAA, to solicit these coaches, these top coaches from these universities, these top coaches from the NFL. It doesn't have to be the head coaches. It could be the position coaches. It could be any of those coaches to come out and hold clinics, to come out and help teach the volunteers some of the things that they can do during practices to make things safer. Many different things have been put on the list for this safety initiative for Taifa. One of them being having more practices without hitting drills, limiting the number of days that hitting can occur during practice. The soft shell helmets for the flag players. When that presentation was done, yes, it's something for the flag players that needs to happen. But at the same time, they talked a lot about the tackle football players, getting it for the tackle football players. So when you have the non-hitting drills, but you're still going through your routes, you're still going through your routines, they've got these helmets on. And it teaches them to be wary of their heads, how they use their head, not to use that helmet as a weapon, as a tackling tool. The helmet's mainly there just for protection. It's not meant to be used by the crown of the head. Not supposed to dip your neck down. These are the kind of things that need to be taught to our coaches as they're teaching these kids. So you got the Game Breaker helmets, the soft shell helmets that are coming out. Thank you to Game Breaker for providing the information they gave all the coaches. And also, Game Breaker is also now the new sponsor of the Taifa Radio Player of the Game Award. So you'll be hearing a lot about Game Breaker here on Taifa Radio, as they have agreed to be a part of this, about part of what we do here on Taifa Radio. When we go out to see the games and broadcast the games, we name a player of the game. For each game we do, we will award them that plaque. And a lot of other great things coming up here in the fall season. So the Taifa Safety Initiative, already in swing, already trying to be good stewards of the game. And that is what is important. So we're going to talk about that. We got some special guests who are going to join us and talk about that safety initiative and how this is progressing forward even more here in Taifa. I think you'll be excited to hear some of the information they've got to provide. Also, we'll take a look at the standings after week 2 of the spring season. Who's up top? Who's leading the charge? Who's looking good? Who hasn't been scored on yet in 2 games? Who hasn't been scored on yet in 2 games? Where are they out of? San Antonio, Houston, Austin. I don't think Austin's even participating. I don't know if any Killeen teams are participating. We'll have to check and see. Of course, you got a lot of organizations that are jumping in there that are not even part of Taifa. Hopefully they like what they see. Come be a part of us here for the 2018 fall season.